menace to sobriety. Just a menace, just a menace, just a menace.
Because I came back from Iraq, and then I came up with all these ideas of getting into property and having this stable life. I was living in Oz.
Yeah.
You know, I had a beautiful house and everything else, and I was like, yeah, this is great, blah, blah, blah. And then I heard about this organization called the Greyman, who were going in and rescuing kids from child prostitution, slavery, human trafficking, basically.
Right.
So 1.6 million kids a year in Southeast Asia alone, and here's the kicker, they're sold by their families. I just couldn't get my fucking head around it. I was like, sold by their families. So you imagine the people that you're closest to in your family, and knowing that they then sell you to cover a debt or whatever into that life of debauchery. I couldn't get my head around that. So I was like, I need to get out there and help change the destiny of these kids' lives. So anyway, I ended up out in Southeast Asia then, rescuing these kids. And I'll tell you
What,
now,
like physically rescuing?
Yeah. So basically the camps were all across the border.
What did they need? Armed forces personnel to kind of do it? Is that what?
Yeah, but the thing is, this is the first time in my life when I did a job that I wasn't allowed to take the tools. You know what I mean? And that was a hard decision for me to do, because basically where the camps were being held, or where the kids were being held in the camps, they'd be held there, and then the cartels would come up through the jungle and they'd recruit them. It'd be like a recruitment process. So some would go off to the brothels, some would go to the sweatshops, some would go to the fishing villages where they don't, it's a one-way trip. You know, they take them on a fishing boat where they're working on a fishing boat. They're used and abused, and when they finish with them, they chuck them over the side. You know what I mean? So, and that for me, so we had to get in there, and we had to be under the guise that we were tourists. So we're like, do we take weapons? And we're like, we had to make the decision not to take weapons. And that was the hardest thing for me, because it's been the tool of my trade, you know what I mean? It's like, so we ended up in the jungle. We actually hid caches of weapons and stuff. So you dig a hole in the ground so you know where the weapons are. But we couldn't actually be caught with weapons on us, because if we were caught, or
Just a civilian with a gun then, aren't you?
Yeah, and also they're going to think, if you are caught by the cartels, they're going to think you're DEA,
All right.
Drug Enforcement Agency, so you're going to get killed anyway.
All right.
You know what I mean? So we had to make that decision to drop that. So if we got compromised, it would look, we're just tourists. Blah, blah. So anyway, we were getting in there, getting the kids out, and then what would happen from there, we would get them, after they'd come and done the sort of interview process, before they came in to collect them, we would get in there, get the kids, and then we would have an orphanage where we'd get donations in from all over the world. It was incredible. This was like, for me, I wanted to go out there out of some moral duty, but then I realised that the power that gave me, mate, it was the best return on investment I've ever had in my life. I wasn't even being paid. You know what I mean? But it was the best return on investment ever. The reason I say that is because I was at the forefront of knowing how powerful it is to help others.
Yeah.
Especially when they're less fortunate. You know, and I think that's something that we're losing in this day and age. Everyone's more interested in how many followers they've got on Egogram than fucking helping each other out. You know, even in close-knit teams, we're vying for position. We'll step over our mates to get to that position. We've lost that power of helping each other. And I think...
It's not trendy, is it?
It's not trendy.
Well, I mean, not doing it properly.
Yeah. So that for me was such an incremental moment. For the first time ever, all the dots started to connect, and I went, like, this is far better than the Special Forces. This, for me, was my purpose.
Yeah, you got genuine fulfillment from it, not topping yourself up with action or alcohol or fucking risky behaviour.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I think I'm doing right, but am I doing right? Is this for my ego? It was ego free.
It was ego free, and it was just so rewarding to me. Spiritual it was, and it was incredible. I've still got the vision of those kids going down, you know, knowing they were going to be sold, putting on that fishing boat, putting in that factory or whatever. I still remember seeing those kids, the vision of seeing those kids walking down the street with a satchel on their shoulders, with their school uniform on, with a smile on their face.
Oh, it breaks my heart.
Menace to sobriety.